Welcome back, third graders. For this video, we are going to go over the answers in our review packet that you should have finished. So again, we're going to go over the answers to make sure we know and have practiced how to solve these problems. So make sure you have your pencil with you as we go over these. So let's look at letter A. What is the difference between 92 and 126? So for this one, I'm going to write in orange, okay? So the first thing I'm going to look for is 92. So there's my starting number. And my end number is 126. So I can see I can go down a few rows. So I'm going to do that. So 1, 2, 3. So that is, remember, this is a hop of 10, this is a hop of 10, this is a hop of 10. So I have 10 plus 10 plus 10. And now I need to hop across, which each hop is worth 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4, which gives me 34. So the difference between 92 and 26 is 34. Now, for B, I'm going to use blue. Okay? The difference between 96 and 129. So again, I'm going to see if I can do hops of 10. So I'm going to go as far as I can with that. So that is a group of 10, a group of 10, a group of 10. And since I can't go any further, I'm going to go across with hops of 1. So 1, 2, 3. So I have 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 3, which gives me 33. So my answer for B, is 33. For letter C, explain how you use the number grid to solve problem 1A. So our orange problem there. I'm going to say I started at 92 and added 30 or 3 tens to get to 122, because that's where my hops ended there. Then I added 4 ones to get to 126. And I can even add 30 plus 4 equals 34. Or my 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 4 equals 34. That would also work. Let's look at number 2, the times for each of these clocks. Clock A is showing 3:45. The hour hand is between the 3 and the 4, and the minute hand is pointed at the 9, which stands for 45. Clock B is showing 10:25. The hour hand is between the 10 and the 11, so it's not quite, so it has to be in the hour of 10. And the minute hand is on the 5, which stands for 25 minutes. Moving on to number 3. For the Tigers, they have 6 wins, so their tally has 6, so they should be filled up to the 6. The Penguins have 3, so I'm going to mark up to the 2 and then 1 more, so that means 3. The Lions have 9, so they should be filled up the same amount of blocks that I have filled in. And the Eagles have 2 groups of 5, which is 10. So the Eagles are filled up all the way to the top. And then to answer the questions in B, how many wins do the teams have in all? What you need to do in all is add up all of their wins. So the Tigers had 6, the Penguins had 3, the Lions had 9, and the Eagles had 10. So when you add up all of those together, you get 28 wins. Let's look at C. How many fewer wins did the Tigers have than the Eagles? Well, the Tigers had 6 and the Eagles had 10. So my subtraction would be 10 minus 6, which equals 4. So 4 wins fewer. For 4, solve each problem. 6 times 2 is 12. B, 3 times 3 is 9. C, 2 times 4 is 8. D, 10 times 4 is 40. E, 5 times 3 is 15. And F, 3 times 6 is 18. For G, it asks you to solve. Tell us how you solved 5 times 3. Well, there's a couple of ways you could explain this. You could say something about how 5 groups of 3 equals 15. You could say I counted 5, 10, 15. There's a variety of ways you could do this as long as you explained it in words. Let's look at number 5. Let's look at letter A. The picture. Well, you could have drawn an array. So 3 packs of gum. In each pack, there are 5 pieces. You could have drawn something like that. Maybe you drew actual packs of gum and made sure to write that there were 5 pieces in each pack. So a picture that could look like that. The answer is 15 pieces of gum. And there are possibly 2 or 3 different number models you could make. You could have written out 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 15. Or you could have written 3 times 5 equals 15. Or the other way to write that is 5 times 3 equals 15. Any of those would be acceptable. And then for B, again, you could draw a picture. Like you had 4 rows of flowers and there were 6 flowers in each row. You could have drawn an array that looks something like that. And there are 24 flowers total. So again, there are about 3 different ways you could write a number model. You could do 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 24. You could do 4 times 6 equals 24, or 6 times 4 equals 24. Any of those would be acceptable. Let's look at number 6. For Ben's soccer practice, remember when we are explaining, we want to use those transition words like first we did this, then he did this. So this, I'm going to give my example, and if you had something similar, then you're good. So I'm going to say first, Ben drew an open number line with 355 for the start. And what was his end? 440 for the end. After that, I'm using another set of transition words. Ben made bunny hops to figure out the length of his practice. Finally, another transition word there. Ben added all of the bunny hops together to get 45 minutes. So, practice was 45 minutes long. So again, you are trying to look at what he did and then explain exactly what he did. Let's look at number 7. Now, I gave you some hints with this. Remember, when you are trying to decide which number to round to the nearest 10, you look at where the number is, you go down to the 10 that came below it, and then you go 1 10 higher to get the next one. For the middle blank, I do halfway between 40 and 50, and so there's a difference of 10, so halfway would be 5, 45. Now, where would 41 go on the number line? Well, it is very close to 40. So if I'm going to which 10 is closer, 40 is a lot closer. Let's look at 68. Well, I look at 68 and I see that the 10 that's going to go right below that would be 60. What's 10 higher than 60? 70. And when I go, what's halfway between 60 and 70? Well, between halfway of 10 is 5. So 65. Now I need to place my number of 68 somewhere. Well, and it's definitely higher than 65, so I'm going to put it here. So 68 is closer to 70. Let's move on to number 8. Round each number to the nearest 100. So again, I gave you the guide. You look at the lower 100 to start, and then you go 1 higher to 700. Well, what's halfway to 100? 50. So my number here is 650. Now, is 671 higher or lower than 650? It's higher, so I'm going to put it around here and mark it. Now, is it closer to 600 or 700? It's closer to 700. Let's look at B, 523. If I look there in my hundreds place, I see it's a 5, so I'm going to write 500 as my low 100. The next 100 up is going to be 600. And halfway between 500 and 600 is 550. Now I need to mark 523. Is it higher or lower than 550? Well, it's lower. I'm going to put it around here. So is it closer to 500 or 600? It's closer to 500. Moving on to number 9. So, how do we find out the total mass of the golf ball? I add all of those numbers up. So I have 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 1, which gives me a total of 46. How did you figure out your answer? I added together 10 grams plus 10 grams plus 10 grams plus 10 grams plus 5 grams plus 1 gram equals 46 grams. And there you go. Don't forget, tomorrow is our math test. So go over more these problems, review them if you struggled on any of these.